Welcome to the world of multi-organ failure. 60% of the patients dying on intensive care units die from a multi-organ failure syndrome. This leads to 500,000 deaths in the US and Europe alone every year. Still, multi-organ failure is not nearly as well known a cause of death as acute heart failure or cancer. Why is that so? Multi-organ failure is not an end-stage disease. It's a life-threatening process. A process that finally involves all three main detoxification organs: the liver, the lung, and the kidney. It starts with the failure of a single organ. The reason can be as insignificant as the cut with a dirty knife. It can happen to any of us, totally independent of age. Now, this cut may lead to an inflammation that the body cannot cope with, sepsis, and finally, blood poisoning. Now the blood needs the full capacity of all three detoxification organs. With the overload of the first organ, a vicious circle starts. The first organ ceases its function and leads to a stepwise impairment of the other organs. What happens then? Detoxification is incomplete, and one relevant part is to keep acid-base balance. At one point, the organism is not able anymore to cope with it and becomes acidic. The pH value drops below 7.35. Now, what is the standard therapy? Try to bridge the failing organ. Now, the detoxification performance of the failing organ is partly taken over, but the acidosis is not corrected. Today's systems do not have the availability to clear acidosis. So the continued acidosis with a reduced pH value leads to an increasingly hostile environment for the other organs. At one point, either the organism is able to resolve it or the patient dies. Now, here comes the ADVOS therapy. It is the first and only therapy that can effectively deal with all forms of appearance and development of multi-organ failure. It supplies sufficient supportive detoxification and correction of acidosis in a patient-individualized therapy. While all of the failing organs are bridged with a single device, it simultaneously corrects the pH value of the organism within hours. That creates an environment and gives time for the failing organs to recover. Now, here is a solution to the main cause of death on the intensive care units. It acts as a sort of extended arm of physiology because it does exactly what the organism would do if it still could. With a target group of 60% of the patients on the ICU, we talk about a market potential of 3.3 billion euro in Western Europe alone. And we can already tell from our clinical data, patients' survival rates are increasing significantly. Acute patients with critical shock are cured and can return to their normal lives. A randomized multi-center clinical trial will be initiated at the beginning of next year in order to establish the new standard of intensive care. Now, how does this detoxification system work? It operates with a low invasive blood flow below 300 milliliters per minute. The blood is led through dialysis filters and then returned to a patient, an absolute routine procedure on every ICU. The breakthrough lies in the dialysis circuit. The ADVOS dialysis contains albumin, which acts as a sort of vacuum cleaner for protein-bound toxins. Albumin is a valuable ingredient, and therefore it is reprocessed in a second dialysis circuit, the ADVOS multi-circuit. Now, thanks to the closed loop, the capacity of the ADVOS therapy system is almost unlimited, in contrast to absorption systems. While the availability of acid and base in the ADVOS circuit, the blood pH can be directly corrected within hours. Now, while the therapy and technology are designed to save lives, they are realized with a considerable reduction in the workload of the ICU staff and in the burden on our environment. Instead of several isolated medical devices, ADVITOS offers a single device for balancing the diseased organism. Operating and supervising the ADVOS system comes with much less effort. 85 liters of fluid are provided in a single container instead of providing them in 5-liter bags manually. At the same time, this saves a considerable amount of plastic waste in the hospital. Now, more than 10,000 treatments have been performed successfully, and we're looking forward to 100,000. More than 20 clinics in Germany and Austria are our customers, and we are now preparing our scale-up. ADVITOS supplies its own treatment sets for a unique therapy and proprietary technology in a pay-per-use model. And this has led to a turnover of 3.4 million euro in 2023 with a growth of 30%. Now, in order to grow much faster and make the therapy available internationally, more studies and a new generation of the ADVOS therapy system are required. This system has been developed over the last years, and it will be presented at the DV Congress in Hamburg on the 4th of December. The new system will fulfill the future requirements of interoperability and IT security on the ICU. Our vision is an even broader system for extracorporeal therapies as a sort of platform. Now, 28 million euro are needed to implement the growth strategy and lead ADVITOS to break even in 2027. ADVITOS is a full-scale company with all functions ready to scale up. And everyone in the very international team sees it as a privilege to contribute to the worldwide implementation of this unique therapy. Our company has a long history with the development of what I presented. Now the development of the range of services is therefore complete for the time being. The focus is now on exploiting the market opportunities and realizing rapid and profitable growth. With a proven therapy, technology and business model, the investment risk has become manageable. So please consider your investment into the scale-up of the first and only therapy for the #1 cause of death on the intensive care unit. Thank you very much for your interest in the world of multi-organ failure and ADVITOS.